It's you talk, baby.
You Talk family, what go on? This your boy D. I wanted to come on and tell you guys thank you to everyone, my whole entire You Talk family that's been supporting me since I started doing this back in 2020. Thank you guys so much. I love you. I appreciate you guys. And a big thank you to everyone that is signed up with your You Talk memberships. Thank you very much. I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you guys so much. I also wanted to say thank you and shout out to our super producer, the man himself, Mr. King Judge, KJ Production, Mr. Marquise Judge. Thank you, brother. I appreciate everything you do. I love you, brother. You already know. Also, a big thank you and shout out to our super co-host, Mr. Larry Frank Jr. Utah family, I know y'all appreciate him, and I do as well. Shout out to Mr. Larry Frank Jr. Thank you for all that you do, brother. I love you. Let's get into it, man. Let me tell you about these 3 different memberships that we got going on at Utah. The first membership is the Utah Club. And with that membership, you will receive different loyalty badges for every month that you are a member of the Utah family. The second membership is the Utah VIP. And with that membership, you will receive 10% off any Utah branded merchandise or apparel. And you will get different photos and videos whenever we're out and about. We'll be sending you different stuff. And the third membership is the Utah Box. And with that membership, you will receive exclusive content when we're doing special interviews with special guests. You will have access to those interviews, and you will get 15% off any Utah branded merchandise or apparel. So those are your 3 memberships. Pick one of the 3, and if you don't, it's still all good. It's all love over here at Utah, but everybody that's got their memberships, I appreciate you guys. Thank you very much, like I said. So, like I said before, thank you. We love you guys. Thanks for supporting the movement. Everybody stay safe, take care. And y'all know how we start every video and every show that we do. And y'all know how we end every video and every show that we do. It ain't no us without you, baby. And I'm out. We love you guys. Take care. It's You Talk.
It's you talk, baby.
From the heart of the city to the edge of the world, telling stories of black kings and queens.
It's you talk, baby.
Every topic, every voice, like a new kind of pearl, shining light on truths to make the future swirl. It's real talk, baby. El Frank and Shine Blue coming through, baby. Real topics, real stuff for the people, baby. Buckle up and let's roll with real talk, baby. It's real talk, baby. It's real talk, baby. It's real talk, baby. And it ain't no me without you, baby. It's you talk, baby, and it ain't no me without you, baby. From the heart of the city to the edge of the world,
It's you talk, baby.
black kings and queens, but both that I'm from. Every time we carry.
Huh? Okay, the new background.
We flipping the script. We are flipping the script. What's good? What's good?
Good. How are you, Larry?
Oh,
Oh,
work be
shit.
working. Oh no, nothing
Okay.
bad. Nothing
Okay, good.
bad. Work
Good.
be working as always, but you know, we're good. We're good. What's up with you?
Good. Work be working, kicking my ass. I'm gonna be real, kicking my. But it's all good. I love my job. Oh God, I'm blessed. I'm blessed. No complaining over here, God. Okay. But yeah, I just been working, like just trying to get above my head above water a little bit. Just a little bit. But I'm good though. Always smiling.
That's awesome. And what I like about that is gonna be in line with tonight's show. But before we get it popping,
Mhm.
we gotta do what we gotta do. So
What we gotta do? What we gotta do?
what we gotta do is Ladies and gentlemen, good people, you are locked into another show of Real Talk on the You Talk Network. And y'all know how we start every show. It ain't no us.
Without you, baby.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Real Talk family, was good with y'all tonight. What up, Chris Kane? I see the
Hey,
chats are
Kane.
starting to roll in already. Antonio Abner, our day ones and all of that. But before we get it started, sis,
Okay.
Bernard, Joseph Bernard in the building.
Yo.
Before we get it started, sis, you know how we do. You know how I do.
Yes.
I can't get the show started without giving love and giving, the props as always. So we got to do what we got to do. So let's get the business out the way real quick. And then we about to get into some business. So first shout out of the night, as always, the man, the myth, the legend himself, the creator and the proprietor of You Talk.
Okay.
Mr. Devin Lloyd, a.k.a. D.
Yes.
What up, bro?
We love you, brother.
Much love, brother. Much love. Much love. The second shout out of the night, as always,
Okay.
has to go to the super producer, the man that keeps all the technicals going right where we don't fall apart. And if we do fall apart, he gets us back online. So
he almost got us.
The super producer, Mr. Marquise Judge, KJ Productions. I can't ever get productions right. I don't know why I get tongue twisted. KJ Productions in the building. King Judge, shouts out to you, brother Marquise.
Yes, Marquise, we love you. Thank you so much.
Much love, much love. Thank you for all you do. Third shout out of the night, obviously, the man behind the merch, the design, the mastermind behind these fire logos you see behind us, man. Like I said, we changed things up, and one thing I got to get is brother, man. He's got a lot of stuff on his plate. He's got a lot of stuff that he's doing, but the one thing I can say is he will definitely take his time and make time to make sure everything and the schematics of everything is looking good and looking right. And he wants to make sure we're satisfied. So
he cares.
Nothing but love for our brother. Absolutely. That's another day one. Mr. Joseph Bernard, aka JB Bernard. And right on cue, we're gonna be rocking some Real Talk shirts. So he says our shirts, they're gonna be ready. They're gonna be ready.
I can't wait to see them.
That's gonna be fire. So shouts out to you, JB. Fourth shout out of the night, as always, goes to our family. The chat, be it the ones that D clown and the inside joke, living single.
Oh, listen, I was just thinking about that. That's how I was kind of giggling to myself. I'm like, bro, should I say it or not?
Hey, I've been referring to him, JB, as Overton Wakefield Bernard. That's his name, Overton Wakefield Bernard.
You know you messed up now. You know you messed up now, but that's all I'm about to call him now from here on out.
When you talk to him, it's Overton Wakefield Bernard.
Overton,
but
I got you.
let me wrap this up and we're gonna get to some business tonight. Fourth shout out of the night, obviously got to go to the chat, everybody that rocks with us every time we come online. The rewatch squad, excuse me, the current watch squad that watches us live. Shouts out to all of the family, all of the people that support us. And fifth and final shout out, as always, has to go to Sis. Sis gets it. Sis gets the shout out. Absolutely. We make it rock. You know what I'm saying? It's all good. Shouts out to my lovely wife in the chat. What's up,
hey, sis?
Shouts out to my bonus mother, Miss English. How you doing, Miss Linda? What's going on? And now that we got the business out of the way, it's time to get to business. So, sis, what are we discussing tonight? Let the people know what we're talking about.
We're talking about financial stability, generational wealth, like setting us up for success. No longer gatekeeping, guys. We're not gatekeeping anymore. We're going to actually talk about how to actually get us to that next level of being financially stable, which I myself personally I'm doing currently right now. I got a lot of work to do, but I know that we're going to get some really great notes, some pointers to get us past that level that we need to be on. So that's what we're talking about.
Absolutely. And you know what? I'm glad you highlighted that it's a learning process for you, because
absolutely
it's a learning process for all of us, because let's just be 100. In our culture, in our community, financial literacy is not something that is taught to us at an early age. We don't learn it, you know, and by the time we get to an age where we are in our 40s, we've already you know, lived life and made some financial decisions that, quite frankly, you know, you hate to say you can't come back from, but you can come back from them, but it's an obstacle to get over those hurdles.
Right.
So what we're doing tonight is we're just changing the game. You know, we're just trying to talk about stuff to really elevate our people financially and just take ourselves to another level, because there's no reason why our other counterparts, and you see it with the Latino community, they stick together, the Asian community stick together, the white community. Why is it the black community we always last? So we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it.
Love it, love it. I'm gonna get my pen and paper too, brother, just in case I gotta take some notes. Okay.
Most deaf. And as always, as we always do, I'm going to put the link up right here for anybody that would like to join us live. That is the link to the show. So there it is. If you'd like to get in on the conversation live, hit that link. If you learning financial stuff, if you got some financial pointers, if it's something we talk about that you're an expert in, hey, hit that link and drop that knowledge, because we're going to be giving gems. Also, last thing I want to do before we get this topic going, the official emails, they're up. Let me go ahead on and put them up right quick.
That's mine.
That's yours and that's mine. Yeah, we got our official emails for the show. So
that's important.
Hey.
I said, that's important.
Hey, mama, we made it. That's all that's the thing you can say. Mama, we made it. So
now I don't want no crazy emails, okay? Don't be trying to curse me out of my emails or none of that. Keep it professional. Try to at least, yeah. But yeah.
Anyway, I ain't gonna even get into it. Yeah, I know. Because remember what we all talked about. Remember me, you, D, and JB, what we talked about. Some of them emails might get wild. But anyway, these emails, let me put the disclaimer out that way to try to help out.
Okay.
You know, any ideas for the show, feedback on the show, interaction with Shy or myself, hit them emails right there. We will check them. We will get back with you, and we will do what we do. So there it is. So, sis.
What's that?
We're talking financial literacy. We're talking about financial literacy. So I'm going to throw the first question of the night out to you before we really start getting into these different guidelines and aspects and all of that stuff. What is your idea of financial literacy, or what are you having an issue with, or what do you not understand? Just put it on the table. What is Shy's biggest hang up with financial literacy as it pertains to Shy?
Right now it's my credit. Like my main focus is getting my credit right. You know, just being young, you know, being a young mom and just having to jump into the work field and just kind of learning things as I go. I just didn't care about it. I was just like, it's not important. As long as I have money, like what's better than money? What's more power than money? That's how I was thinking when I was younger. Like even in my earlier 30s, I'm like, if I want a car, I can just pay cash for it, whatever. Or if I want this, I can put a down deposit. Really wasn't thinking about the effects of it and how important credit really was. So now in my 40s, here I am, like, you know, having all this experience. And the main thing they always ask you, well, how's your credit? How's your credit? That's like the first thing. Like you can't even open up bank accounts these days without having good credit, you know? Everything checks your credit. So it's like, damn, if I knew what I knew now back then, I just can't even imagine where I would be in my life now. So, but the thing that scares me the most, honestly, is like having young kids, young adults now, trying to teach them the right way when you don't even know yourself, you know? So it's like, how can I prevent this from recycling if I don't know, you know? And then it's like, you get all caught up in your work and school life or whatever. It's like, it's always on the back burner. I feel like I'm so far from fixing it. And it's like, what I heard and people are telling me, it doesn't take a lot. It's like, I don't know if society just tries to scare you a little bit to make it seem like it's a lot to fix your credit or to get to where you need to be, but really it isn't. From what I'm seeing and seeing these IG posts about, oh, all you got to do, but there's so many scammers. So I'm like scared to like trust anybody to fix my credit, but I just need the knowledge on how to do it myself. That's it. I think that's the main thing. I hear a lot of
Okay.
people talk about stocks and investing, but it's like, where do I start? And then when I'm hearing people talk about it, it's like sounds like a different language to me. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, here, just take my money and you put it towards stocks or you invest it for me because I don't know. I'm working on becoming an entrepreneur. I'm very talented in a lot of different areas in my life, but I'm focusing now on my entrepreneurship, because I want to leave something behind. But it's always, where do you start? And you need good credit to even be an entrepreneur. It's successful. If you want to buy land, if you want to buy property, it's all about credit. So to me, that's where my main focus on before I focus on anything else dealing with financials. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's not the route. So, but that's like my focus.
Okay.
I wanna.
All
I
right.
don't want to work for the rest of my life. I want to be able to do what I want to do
Right.
when I
Right.
want to do it, and not think like, oh my God, I gotta work 6 months for me to be able to take a vacation. I don't want to live that life. So
Right. Right. I feel all of that. And the thing
yeah.
about it is everything that you just named, I've been there. I'm still there to an extent in a lot of avenues, but one of the common things, the common themes that you just had placed with everything
Hmm.
is you talking about where do you start. And
Right.
I'm gonna highlight this right here, and we're gonna get to that. D just put the comment up. You start with whole life insurance. We're gonna actually get to that because that's going to be one of the things that we're highlighting as far as what you can do to reverse just the financial rut, the hamster in the wheel that we're in. But I want to go back to your initial concern, which is credit.
Okay.
And look, worst thing you can do is give an uneducated black person a credit card with a certain amount on it and not tell them the importance of responsibility.
Okay.
I'll highlight this with a quick story, then I'll go into, some ways that we can go ahead on and get that credit fix. Freshman year for me, 30 years ago. Wow. Dang, 1995. That just hit different when I thought about it. But I'll never remember. I'll never forget. I got to college, and I don't know how it is right now, but I know back in the day when you'd go to like the student unions and maybe the courtyards and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And real quick, let me give a shout out to my bonus mom. Thank you so much, bonus mom, Miss Linda, for the
Thank you,
dono.
Mama.
Always giving to the show, always giving back. Thank you so much. Yes, yes, as Sherry said, please hit the like, share, subscribe button to try to get this out so we can try to inform the people. Thank you,
Yes.
Sherry. Thank you. But getting back to everything, I can remember
Mhm.
back in 95, my freshman year of college, they used to have these tables set up, and you had American Express with a rep, you had Discover with a rep, you had Visa and all the credit card companies with reps. And they're just like vultures, you just walking. I remember walking through the student union and I had my backpack on, still trying to figure out my schedule, still trying to learn my surroundings. And
Mhm.
they're coming to me talking about, hey, you come over here, come over here. And I'm like 18 years old. I don't know nothing. So I'm like, what you got? And back then you didn't get an instant decision like you do now, like you get online. Like you fill out something online, you get an instant credit decision, yay, nay. If you get the credit decision, they're telling you the credit limit, how much you get, blah,
Right.
blah, blah. So
Right.
what you had to do was you put your information in and you fill out the application, they mail it off. Then 7 to 10 days later, you get your decision back. Well, here's the kicker. Back in the day, and really for now, for anybody that doesn't use any credit, like your kids, well, my kids, they started using their credit, but like with your sons or whatever right now, that may
Right.
not be using credit right now, you're not going to necessarily get denied all the time because you have no negative credit because you haven't used credit. They're going to give you what they call starter credit. They're going to
Okay.
give you some form of credit with a lower limit. Now, I remember my first credit card that I got, and I was a fool because it was a Discover card. And to get Discover, everybody can't get Discover. Discover
Right.
is like upper echelon right there. But I
Mhm.
remember I got a Discover card my freshman year of college with $1,000 credit limit.
Oh, you was rich.
The Oh, what? You couldn't tell me nothing. So I didn't even know I got approved because I filled out the application. I didn't even know
Right.
what was going on. I just put my information down, gave it to the guy. He said, okay, we'll have a decision coming to you in a couple of days or whatever. Lo and behold, a couple of days later, next week, 7, whatever, 10 days later, the card comes in the mail and I'm seeing this little piece of plastic with my name on it. Now, that was the first thing. That's where they get you when you're new to credit. You get this piece of plastic with your name on it, and all of a sudden, you thinking like you got a black card or something like that.
Right.
Like, what y'all done gave me this for? So then it has the limit, which at the time was $1,000. What? 1,000? You giving me $1,000?
Right.
And you know, listen, little young black kid like myself, you know what I'm thinking? Oh, I'm finna get what I ain't paying none of this shit back.
And you thinking it's free money.
I'm thinking it's free money without knowing the ramifications of not being responsible. I didn't know nothing about the utilization factor. I didn't know about the statement date, how they report to the bureaus. I didn't know about the payment date and how important it is to not miss a payment. All I knew was this company just gave me the means to go out and temporarily satisfy myself by buying a bunch of stuff that ain't gonna bring no value. And you gave me $1,000 worth of purchasing power to do it. So went to the mall, bought me 4 pairs of Jordans. Back then it was like 125 max. Like now I think they go over 200. Yeah. So but I bought me 4 pairs of Jordans, couple of Nautica shirts, because Nautica and Tommy was the hot stuff to wear back in the day. Video games. I just maxed the code. I must have maxed it up in about maybe 3 hours.
Or nothing. Just
for nothing. Just maxed it. And little did I know that, you know, okay, I had the instant gratification of getting all this material stuff. But little did I know, I just damaged my credit big time at 18 years old, being stupid. Right. So here's the right way to do it, and we're gonna get into this lesson. B9 says, damn, LFJ. Yes, bro. We down here, bro. We hey, number one stunner. Listen, number one stunner is just not something that Birdman and the Cash Money people did in Louisiana. We really want some number one stunners around here when you gave us some stuff.
We listen and we don't judge.
Please don't judge me. So here's the thing about credit cards, and for those who may not understand how the credit cards work. And I'm going to give you a little bit of an option to utilize your credit cards to your advantage, build your credit, get the bonus points and all of that stuff. First things first is when you get a credit card, whatever your limit is, you got to know the math of everything. Okay. Let's just say you get, in my case, $1,000 limit of a credit card. Well, in hindsight, they tell you to not go over 30% utilization. That's pretty much the most you want to stay from. But if you really want to optimize your credit score, no JB, four pair. If you want to optimize your credit score, the best thing you could do is to stay at or under 10% because it's showing credit usage, but you're not going overboard. Now, here's the kicker. Every credit card has a payment date. They have a statement date. So while we're looking at our utilization, it's very important to remember with credit cards. And most times your payment date and your statement date are going to be fairly close, maybe 7-10 days off or whatever within a week. Well, the payment date is important because you don't want to miss that payment, because a missed payment on your credit report is going to drop it 30, 40, 50, however many points. But also the statement date is where your utilization comes into play, because with your statement date, you want to make sure that your utilization is back down to that between optimum 10, but if you're going to have something, no more than 30, because they're going to report the balance and your utilization to the credit bureaus by that statement date. So you want to make sure you're within a good utilization. That's going to keep your credit, you know, at a workable range. If you have $1,000 credit limit and you done spent like $600 of it, and your payment date is the 3rd with a minimum payment of $25, well, okay, I'll pay the $25, but guess what? Where they're getting you is they're getting you for interest. And after they get you for the interest for making the minimum payments, when your statement date hits, you still have $575 worth of used credit that gets reported to the bureaus. And here's the kicker. you should always pay more, or at least pay it down under the 30% by the statement date. And for those who may not know, the statement date is going to be somewhere in the top right-hand corner. You can go online, look at a actual PDF statement. It's going to be in the top right-hand corner somewhere, but you just can't miss it. You can't miss it at all. So the thing about that is, once you master the schematics and the mechanics of knowing the payment date and the statement date and the utilization, now you're going to be able to jump your credit. So if your credit's not so good, you can go and get, and there's a lot of bad credit opportunities where you can get some bad credit cards with low limits to allow you to rebuild your credit. So they may be $300, they may be $200. You have some that'll give you the unsecured amount, but you got some that you got to put a deposit down, which is $200 in a lot of cases, or $300. You'll put that money out up front. But the key is, once you learn your payment date and your statement date, you just make sure that your utilization is low enough by the statement date, and you're making your payments by the payment date, and that's going to jump your credit score. Okay. So here's the thing about credit cards. We get them just like I did, like all of us do. We get these credit cards and we buy frivolous stuff. Benard talking about Capital One. Yes, they are
the best one.
Capital One will give you a credit card easily because Capital One is, put it to you like this, they prey on subprime people with subprime credit. So you'll get a Capital One card with lower limits. Also, Credit One. Credit One is another one. What's the First Premier? That's another one. Yeah. You can start off with them, and they'll give you some credit cards or whatever, but it'll be lower limits. But the key is just don't miss no payments, and make sure by that statement date that your utilization is between 10 and 30% to keep jumping your score. Okay. Now, here's the thing that I think a lot of people don't realize, and this is where you can kind of start bridging the gap and getting yourself in position to create wealth. Yeah, we're going to buy our frivolous stuff. We're going to shop and do what we do with credit cards, obviously. But why don't we take all of our utilities, our subscriptions, everything that we got, put them on the credit cards, and then by the payment date, the same cash money that you're paying out of your income, your payroll check, pay the credit card off. Like an
auto payment?
Put it on auto pay. Put it on auto pay, because if you put it on auto pay, you know the bills are going to get paid. Right. Your subscriptions, all of that stuff is going to get paid. And I'm going to highlight what JB just said. The interest will be high. Gotcha. Well, that's if you pay the minimum payments. If you pay the minimum payments on a card and you leave a balance, the interest is just going to keep, eating at you. That's why it's important, if you use a credit card, knock it out to where the interest don't eat you up. But let's say you got your Netflix. Let's say you got your streaming services with your music. Let's say you got your gym membership or whatever. If all of that stuff is equal to, say, $150, okay, let's just say that $150 is coming out. If you have a certain time, one of your pay periods or whatever, you pay off those charges monthly, you're going right back down to a zero balance. And you got to be disciplined. As JB said right here, if you use auto pay, you got to be disciplined, which is facts. You're going to bring it right back down to a zero balance. And if there's a little bit of a balance, at least get it to between 10 and 30 by the statement date when they report to the bureaus. The same money that you would have taken out of your paycheck off your debit card that gives you nothing, if you use your credit card to pay your bills, guess what? You're going to get credit card perks. You're going to get credit card rewards, bonus points, travel points. True. Yeah, use all of the perks that these credit card companies give you. And at the same time, when you responsible usage over and over again, guess what's going to happen? They're going to extend you a credit limit increase down the line. Warren Buffett, the master investor stock trader, said that the richest people in the world, they don't use cash. They use credit.
They
They don't have to use cash. They use credit. So that's the thing about credit cards is responsible usage of the credit card. So I mean, that's just one of the main things that we just sleep on a lot, you know.
So a good starter credit card, like for a teenager or a young adult, would probably be Credit One, might be the best one. Because I have Navy Federal, and my son has a secure credit card up under me.
Well, if you got Navy Federal is like top notch. Here's the deal, Navy Federal is top notch with their credit programs and stuff. Like if you can get an auto loan with Navy Federal, if you can get, I think Navy Federal has what they call the pledge loan, where you can get, you call them up. Now you got to have this certain amount in your balance in your savings account. Like tell them you want a $500 pledge loan. Well, you have to have a $500 balance in your savings account.
Okay.
And what they're going to do is they're going to give you the loan, and when they give you the loan, just have it on auto pay where it's coming out of the account. It's getting auto drafted out. So, and then once it's paid out, it's going to report to the bureaus. It's going to jump your score, and it's going to reflect on your credit.
Right.
But you know, yeah, if you could get Navy Federal, Navy Fed is the top notch, one of the top notch companies. Yeah. And as B-Nod said, your score will go up, but if you miss a payment, your points are going to drop big. And the thing about that is what I hate about that, your score will go up little by little with all the made payments, but you know, that one missed payment will drop you down. And let's say over the course of 6 months, you raise your score 50 points, being responsible, right?
Right.
You miss a payment, guess what? That one missed payment, they might drop you 70 points.
Yeah.
That's how dirty and crucial these credit card companies can be. But real quick, before we get to the next thing, I see we got our first guest in the building. So I'm gonna go ahead on and bring him in, let him do what he do and give us some expertise. Coming to the stage is our brother, day one friend of the show, the one and the only Mr. Chris Kane. What up, bro? How you doing?
What's going on? What's going on? The champ is here.
Oh, you ain't showing your face today, huh? You what?
Ooh, no.
What's that in the background? What I see right there? 5-time national champion.
The Miami, the 5-time national champion Miami Hurricanes, of course.
Yes, those were my car flags that I had to take down. I wore them things out so much. I got them right now. I'm gonna put them in a frame whenever because I had to take them down. That one was tearing my flags up. Wow, I was so mad. Love my flag.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So what's up with you, man? What's on your mind tonight? Talk to us.
Oh, man. Well, I'm I'm a little bit in a bad way. I was supposed to be at work, but I missed my backup last night coming home from work. And so I'm here now at the house. I'm in the bed listening to the show. And
thank you.
Yeah, and I had some ideas because I was in the same place where you was, Larry Frank. I got a card and I had a real good credit, you know, because I was 20, maybe 21 or something at the time.
Right.
Went ahead and got a credit card for a jewelry store. That credit said $2,500. Yeah. Oh, God. But the thing about it is, I had it to where I was able to pay my payments. I was working. I was making sure that I was responsible to pay my payments because I like jewelry. I like nice things. So I always wanted to make it seem like I would be able to, you know, keep that balance up, not knowing that at the time my father was telling me like, hey, you might need to go ahead and slow down and don't get everything, you know, save some for a rainy day. I ain't listen. Right. I wish I would have listened, but I didn't listen. But I kept my balance and everything else like that, and I kept it up to par. The problem is whenever I went out and I tried to help a family member.
Okay.
When I helped that family member, my family member was in a bind or whatever. Okay. And went to go help. And then once I put my name on something for that credit line, that shot that down. You see what I'm saying? Now, mind you, I had gotten Discover, American Express, that gold American Express card. I had got all of these things, but my father was like, nope, don't take it. Don't take it. Don't do it. Don't put yourself in no debt. Now that I listened to,
Right.
Okay.
that I listened to. So I didn't do that. I had that one call from that jewelry store, and that
Mhm.
was it. But my credit was to the point of where it was like I was thinking it was like it was like 790 or something like that at that time.
Dang.
But
That's good.
right, right, boy, look here. Shit, and I'm gonna tell you something. Having credit like that back then was better than having money. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It is.
You know what I'm saying? And I mean, you can go. I mean, it's like that was everything. I wanted to go get a car. I had everything lined up the way I was going to keep it. But then after a while, I started listening to what my
Right.
father was saying. And he said, it's always good to have money in your pocket. Always have that as your safety net. But you
Yeah.
use your credit for your aces. That's what you're going to need for anything else. Because you could save the money and
Mm-hmm.
put that towards the credit. That's going to make your credit build up more.
Right.
I was
Right.
like, well,
Right.
I said, but damn, Pops knows some stuff. And then that's when I started doing it. Soon as I started doing it, then it started rising. But the moment it rises is when that person needed help. So me, I was like, listen, I done been burnt by this person before. I really didn't want to do it, but my mom played that little guilt trip thing, and she was
Mhm.
like, well, we'll help her out. Well, she'll do it, or this, that, and the third. I said, all right. And I messed around. As soon as I did it, went down.
Mhm.
My score went from an 835 to a 273.
Ain't no way.
I thought
There's
it
no
couldn't go
way.
below. I thought it couldn't go below 400.
Right. That's what I
Damn, boy,
thought.
you
Hold
you
on.
you you set records.
Right, right. And this was to the point where nobody couldn't even you couldn't even pay me the money back. You couldn't do nothing. You couldn't do installments. You couldn't do anything. You ran from your responsibilities, but it had my name on it. Mind you, I had my name put on stuff that even hurt my credit even more that I didn't even know that I had my name on. People
Wow.
put stuff in my name and I didn't even know it.
Well, let me ask you this, Chris. Did it take a long time for you to get that credit back up to good standing?
Hell yeah.
You're good now.
I'm good now. But see, my
Okay.
thing is, and I'm gonna tell you something. My wife got me. We got a Sky account, and I would tell this to anybody who's trying to build credit. So anybody out there in the chat, out
Mm-hmm.
there listening, or anything, anybody on the rewatch, and I tell some of my coworkers this too. Some of the younger guys, but they're trying to build their credit. I told them, I said, listen, you get you a Sky account. You started out $200. That $200 you don't touch unless you necessarily have to.
Chris,
Okay, we get
real quick. You say sky, are you talking about open sky for bad credit?
open sky, open
Open
sky.
sky. That's
Yeah,
what I
Open
thought because
sky.
I
yeah,
see
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Yeah, open sky. Yeah.
yeah. Now that you use that, you get you a 200 or $250 limit. That is it. You work from there. You don't mess with that unless you necessarily have to. And I'm not talking about you going out getting no shoes, no clothes. I'm talking about for your gas, for your food, stuff like that. We get
Okay.
paid every week. So you should be able to manage your money. Now, there are some times where you're going to have to pay bills, and that's going to come out of there, and you might need some money that was going to be going towards gas that you need to go ahead and pay this bill. Okay, and this bill is very important, like the light bill, whatever the case is.
So how did you
Okay,
get
well,
open sky? Is it something like you just Google and it's like a
hmm yeah, you go to Open Sky and you go ahead and you get it. My wife got one for her,
okay.
and I got one. We build it up to the part now to where it's gold. But here's the
Okay.
thing. But here's the thing. We stay disciplined. That's the
Okay.
thing. We stay disciplined. We keep it all monitored. You can raise that thing to $350, 400, 500, a
You
thousand.
can look it
I
up.
gotta and I mean when my credit plummeted, nobody wouldn't touch me. Now
Okay.
I got all them cards coming in, but me now being 40 years old, I cut them up. That's the only credit card that I got because that's the only one that I'm gonna need.
All right.
You
Well,
see what I'm
thank you,
saying?
Chris. I really thank you for your pointers. They were great. I took
Yeah.
some notes while you was talking. So
Yeah.
thank you
So for
Absolutely.
so
anybody
much.
else,
Thank you for tuning in. It's always a
yes, yes,
pleasure.
man. Always.
All right.
But y'all be
Okay.
good. I'm gonna holler at y'all later.
All right. You
Appreciate
Peace
you,
out.
too. Talk
Chris.
to you
All right,
soon.
be
Yes, sir.
good, brother. We'll talk.
All
All
We'll
right.
right.
talk.
Yes,
All
sir.
right. Yeah. So open sky and another way that you can really see like bad credit card opportunities. Look, Credit Karma is free. Now, here's the thing about Credit Karma. They use Vantage Score. You have a FICO score. You got FICO score 8. You got a FICO. One of the FICO score models is for like auto insurance and stuff like that. There's the
Okay.
mortgage. There's a model for mortgages. There's a model for auto loans.
Mm-hmm.
But if you go on to Credit Karma, don't believe Credit Karma is actually what your credit is. When my credit was in the dumps, I used it kind of as a guideline to kind of get
Okay.
an idea of the direction I'm going in, you know. So
Okay.
if it said my credit was like 5 something or whatever on Credit Karma, I'm probably in the 4s. If it
Okay.
says that it's 6 plus, I'm probably mid to high 5s. But the key is about Credit Karma, what I like is everything that you get is reported, it shows, and it gives you just an idea how to keep your track record going.
Okay.
So yeah, that's a good place to start as well. But if you really want to, and here's the thing now, if you really want to fix your credit, you're gonna have to invest financially. Like we listen, black folks, we hate spending money a lot of times. We always act like we tight, but guess what? If you really want to level up, you're gonna have to invest in yourself one way or
Now,
the other.
Larry, now,
Mhm.
ever since I was younger, I always used to hear buying a car is a great investment until I got older and people was like, don't ever buy a car, like a brand new car, and think that's going to make your credit go sky high. Even if you're paying $700 a month, car payments don't really make your credit score go as high as we think. Is that true?
Yeah, they don't make your credit score go high. If anything, it's the opposite way. A high credit score allows the people to give you these pre-approvals to get a car, and then they lock
Okay.
you in and suck you in, and then you go buy your vehicle or whatever, you're stuck with that thing. But listen, to each his own, and I'll say this to auto loans. We all gotta work, we all gotta have our transportation to get back and forth to
Mm-hmm.
work. So you know your situation. So if I have a job that's right around the corner, or
Mm-hmm.
maybe 5-10 minutes from the house, 21-year-old Larry was trying to get a brand new Chevy Silverado just to feel good about going to work.
Listen,
48-year-old Larry, if
you was
I
getting
got
your
a
car
job
to
around,
you was
huh?
still a car to the dealership.
Hey,
Going
that's how
on
that.
long ass trips with
Hey,
test driving.
hey, man, listen. I had to do what I had to do to lock Mrs. Frank in. I had to do what I had to do to lock her in.
Y'all, you was still the cars, y'all. Go ahead, Larry.
Yeah, nah, you good. But now, my suggestion to a younger person, that
Mhm.
doesn't really know what's going on, like if working, it's not your career job, but if you're kind of getting started in the game of life and you're
Yeah.
working, my suggestion to a younger person, if you don't have to travel far, get you a cash car, no note, because guess
Okay.
what? If you have no note, something reliable, that get you around and live life and go to work. If you have something with no note, guess what? When you get paid, that's one less expense that you got that's taken out of your check.
Yeah.
Now, when you get to the point in life where you're established and you can afford it, if you see fit to treat yourself and ride nice, do what you got to do. Nothing wrong with that.
That's my
But
issue.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
I would spend top dollar for my car, even though I probably shouldn't. I should probably be driving something totally different. But I'm a Mercedes girl. All my friends be like, "Shy, stop buying them daggone cars." And I should listen. I should have. I should
Let me highlight
have.
this
I like a
comment
nice
right here.
car.
Let me highlight this, a good point right here by a guy DJ. He says credit
Uh-huh.
cards are great. Pay your bills with credit cards. Pay the same money you would pay your bills with the card, what we were talking about earlier.
Right.
In 3 months, your credit will go up at least 150 points. That's facts. And that goes back
Wow.
to what we were talking about. You know, Because think about it. The objective, you're paying your bills. Okay. Taking your money out your check, debit card, auto pay, auto draft, whatever. Your bills are getting paid. So if you
Right.
have these credit cards that are still going to pay the bills, use the card to pay the bills and pay the cards off. Get the, like I said earlier, get the benefit of the points, the rewards, and the credit boost.
Right.
Yeah. So, and here, B-Nod, they see that credit score, you need a car, and it's not right, you going back to the line, to the back line. Facts.
Right.
Facts.
100%.
So yeah, that's the credit card stuff. That's the thing we're gonna touch on with credit cards. So the moral of the story with credit cards, people, responsible usage, low utilization, don't miss a payment, and you can jump your score and do some big things.
Yeah.
DJ, I'm gonna go ahead. He wants to know how he can come on. DJ, I'm gonna go ahead and put the link. I want you to tap this link right here that I put, and it's gonna bring you on live, DJ. That way you can tell, because DJ said he has a story that he wants to tell.
And also, Larry, I heard that you shouldn't pay in large lumps. Like some people might want to try to hurry and pay something off and maybe pay like 300, 400 here. Like I heard you should probably break that up and pay maybe more than what you owe, but not too much at one time.
On the credit card?
On the credit card to build your credit back up. Well, on the bill period, not just the credit card, but just on the bill period to raise your credit. You know, like say, okay, I check my credit and it's like, oh, I have a medical bill and I owe $1,200. Instead of paying $1,000 right off front, like, okay, I got my taxes, let me go ahead and just pay off everything at one time. I heard that you really shouldn't do that. I heard you should like kind of break it down a little bit and pay little smaller amounts.
The thing about medical bills is, and I'm glad you brought that up, because medical bills is technically not consumer debt. It's listed on your credit report, but a medical bill does not raise or drop your score.
Really?
It does not. It does not.
Oh, okay.
And the thing about it is, it's put there, and it basically, your history about it is there, but when it comes into your being factored for a car or mortgage or whatever, it doesn't count, because you got to think about something. A medical bill, you didn't put an application in to get a medical bill. You didn't sign a contract to pay installment loans on a medical bill. So how can they measure your credit worthiness off of you got sick and went to the hospital,
right,
the ambulance and everything else, or surgery or whatever you may have had to deal with, and now you got a $3,000 medical bill for circumstances beyond your control? They can't hit you with that. They can't hold that against you. You know, but real quick, I'm gonna bring our guy on. Shy, I don't think you've met him yet, but this is our guy. I've known this brother for a couple of years. He's a friend to the U-Talk side.
Okay.
One of the baddest DJs on the planet. And oh yeah, when he plays music, he will get you stepping. He will have you stepping.
Where is he from?
He is let me say it right. I got to give him the right introduction.
Okay.
He is a member, an alum of the Marching 100.
Okay.
FAMU, I believe FAMU's I don't know. I'm Southern University. I'm sorry. We be having our little HBCU battles back and forth.
Okay.
But I got love for FAMU. But yeah. But we're gonna bring him in, man. That's our guy right here, Mr. DJ. What up, DJ?
Yes, what's going on, man? What's the word?
He sounds like a DJ.
Yeah, he is.
What's the business, man? I'm gonna just come on for a second. You know, I see y'all talking about credit and how you build your credit and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you, like if you are on, let's say you don't deal with credit cards or anything.
Okay.
Get the smallest amount of a credit card, like $300, right?
Okay.
From whoever would accept you, Capital One, whomever. And after that, what you do, you don't use that whole card. Just use that card like twice a month. Use it to just like put gas in your car, just to fill it up. This is the start off your card. You know, the start off your credit real good, even if you have no credit, because I was somebody that had like absolutely like no credit outside of, because I would always like I would buy cars. I would
Right.
pay full cash, But I
Yeah.
was like, okay, that's going the wrong way with wanting to purchase homes and stuff like that. And
Mm-hmm.
so once I talked to a couple brokers I know from the Florida A&M Marching 100, I'm gonna give the real alumni, from
Uh,
FAMU, Tallahassee, Florida. And so, basically, what I did was I talked to one of the brokers when we were getting our home and stuff like that,
okay.
and like get a $300 credit card, and what you would do, spend no more than 10% of that card. And right after you spend that 10%, because say you start off at a $300 limit, what you do is just use 10% and like 2-3 days after that, because don't use the credit card as you using the card, just that's free money. It's not free money. Use it as if you're using your own money. So use that card for like 10% of that card and then pay your money back in like 3 days from the money that you would spend of your own that you would pay such and such with, you know, like
Mm-hmm.
I say $300 card, you'll spend like probably what I say like $30. Don't go no more up to like no more past $30.
Okay.
You do that for like a month or two, your credit is gonna jump like 55, 60 points. And then you keep doing that for like at least 3 months, it's gonna jump to like 100, almost like 100, I say 20 something to 50 points, depending on what your old credit has been. And then what you do after that, and like in a 6 month period, you could up your credit limit. Say, I want it to be 1,000 now.
Okay.
Now paying 10% of that, that's like a phone bill, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So then pay your phone bill. Like the phone bill is gonna be, let's say you have one phone and you've done greatly for like what a 6 month period. Now you can up your credit limit to like $1,000, right?
Okay.
So use 10% of that. Remember that 10% from your
Mm-hmm.
credit card, and
Mhm.
then you use that to just pay your phone bill. The same money 3 days later, pay that same thing that you were going to spend with your own money that you're going
Okay.
to spend that bill with anyway. And guess what? The next 2 months is going to jump up another 50 points, 50
All
something,
right.
60 points. You have to know the game. Don't get these credit cards and go be going out there. Don't spend most of just 10%. You
Okay.
spend
Right.
10% of that
Right.
card,
Yeah.
and every month, like even when you pay it 3 days later, if you still got cash and stuff like that in your pocket or whatever, or in your bank account or whatever, you can go do another 10% in that same month. Guess what? Pay it 3 days later, right after that, and it's gonna raise it even high. It's gonna raise it even higher because they saying, oh, this person is taking care of this thing. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what they looking
Right.
at. Experian,
Yeah.
FICO, everybody, the FICO 8,
Right.
everything you
Yeah.
talking about, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And it's
Mm-hmm.
different that I'm not talking about football. now we get to the important thing. But
That's
that
right.
Right.
is how
Right.
that is how you do it. And once you do that, remember that 10% of that card. And remember, don't use that 10% just for, you know, just not the 10%, but don't use that card just splurge. That's
Right.
Okay.
not your money. That's their money. They just want to know if you can pay that back. And the
Got you.
quickest you can pay that back, because your score is going to even jump higher. You can use that card, let's say 3 months, but three times in a month, right?
Okay.
But once you spend that card one time in that month, 3 days later, pay it, and then
Mm-hmm.
use it again that month, pay it.
Right.
Don't
Got you.
use nothing you don't have to pay back. Don't use
Okay.
that. You know what I'm saying? But always keep it
Mm-hmm.
at a 10%. Don't go above 10%. If you go above 10%, don't go no further than 15% of your credit limit. But make
Okay.
sure you're gonna pay that back within 3 days. And guess what? You're gonna see a whole big credit change. You're gonna be like, I never thought I can get this score.
Yep.
That's what's up. I took some notes.
I beat the game. I beat
Oh
the
yeah.
game.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And the thing about it, real quick, DJ, before we let you go, man, and I appreciate you giving that knowledge. I like how you were saying about, you know, the structure, because basically it's a credit card hack. It's a way to trick the credit bureaus, because
That's a good way to put it.
it's gonna show the credit card companies that you're responsible.
Right.
And they're going to give you a bigger limit down the line. And the same thing, when they give you that bigger limit, hey, if you go from 300 and they say, hey, all right, you've been doing your business right, we're going to give you 700, 750. All
Right.
right. And don't go over $75 and pay it
Right.
right back off.
Yeah.
10%. Just remember the 10% rule and just keep paying it off 3 days later on the 10% rule, and watch, you're going to see a major difference. You're going to be like, wow.
Right.
Well, thank you, DJ. I appreciate it. Nice meeting you.
All right, y'all. Y'all be easy. Be safe
All
out
right.
there. I'll talk
Take
to y'all later.
care. Talk
All
to you
right,
next
my
time.
brother. You be
Yeah,
good, bro.
man.
All right. Already.
See, I never
Yeah.
heard about the 10% rule.
Yeah. But you see,
I'm
that's the
40
thing.
years old. Never heard about the 10% rule.
Don't feel bad. I didn't learn about this until a couple of years ago.
Oh,
So,
okay.
but this is why these conversations need to be had within our culture and our community, because
Right.
they ain't teaching us this in school. They need to, let me tell you something. They need to have
Don't get me
basically, not to
started
cut you
on
off real
school.
quick. Oh, I'm gonna give it to you. I'm gonna put this out there. I'm gonna let you say your piece on that.
No, go ahead.
They give you all of these classes and all of these lectures and classes over the years growing up over stuff that does you no good. What the hell is Christopher Columbus coming over here stealing this land from the natives over here got to do with me? What does it do with me
Nothing at
bettering
all.
myself? Nothing. It don't teach me nothing. It
Nope.
teaches me nothing, you know. The only thing that is universal that you must learn in school is reading, English, and math. Those
Mm-hmm.
three things, because you apply that in life.
Right.
All that other bullshit they teach you, cooking. My mama could
Yeah.
teach me how to cook. My
Yeah.
grandmama could teach me how to cook. Carpentry. Come on now. You might
Yeah.
learn some basic things, but you got resources within the village that can teach you that. But this
Yeah.
right here, credit and financial literacy, they don't teach you that. You know why?
Exactly.
Because if they teach you how to become rich, how to become smart with that, you put yourself in a position to become rich. When you put yourself in a position to become rich, Shy, you know what happens?
What
That
happened?
makes you above being employable, and that makes you being able to be your own boss and not needing the system to
Absolutely.
survive. But
Yeah.
I'm on my soapbox, sis. Go ahead on, say
No,
what you
no,
wanted
but
to
I
say.
agree with you 100%. So that's why when I chose a high school for my son, I made sure that he was going to be able to take college courses while he was in high school. They had, those type of career entrepreneur. He took entrepreneurship and public speaking in ninth grade. You understand what
Right.
I'm saying? Like he took those type of courses that will make him successful as being his own boss very early. But another sad thing is a lot of certain communities they don't offer those courses and
They
classes.
they won't. They won't. That's why it's
I was
important.
driving 45 minutes for my son to go to this specific school every morning
See,
just so he will be able to get those type of classes and courses. Like it's sad. It's just sad how the education system is, and I don't want to get too deep in that. But high school did not prepare me for life. It did not
none
prepare
of us.
me. I mean, even the little things like teach you how to write a chat. Just like things they could have taught you in elementary school. And credit could have been taught a long time ago. A long time ago. But it's all a
Absolutely.
setup. Like I said, I don't even want to get started with the education system, but it's not designed for what we're talking about and what we're
Oh,
trying to accomplish.
we'll
Definitely
do a
not.
we'll do a show on that down the line. A
Absolutely.
note taken.
Hmm.
So I'm gonna get to the next topic of creating wealth in the Black community. We pretty much covered credit. I think everybody has a good understanding.
Yeah.
And if anybody is confused or maybe wants some resources, I have some resources. Hit me up on the email. I can email you some YouTube channels that taught me.
Yeah.
The stuff that DJ just taught, the stuff that I just talked about. I got this
Hmm.
off of YouTube and a certain channel. So if anybody's interested, hit me up. I'll give you the links and all of that. So
Yeah.
moving on, the next thing that I think a lot of people within our culture really miss out on and misunderstanding as it pertains to being able to get wealthy or create wealth is we
Hmm.
got to eliminate debt. We got to eliminate our debt. We got to get free from debt, y'all, because this is the thing. They got to look at it like this. And I'm talking about frivolous stuff. The more money that you got going out on stuff that brings you no value, the more money that you got going out on liabilities, that's the less money that comes into making you an asset.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're spending all your money on J's and all this other stuff, you know, what are you going to be able to put your money into? And I just want to highlight this comment. One more thing on wealth in the Black community. Y'all gonna have me up all night. No, we ain't, DJ, because we gotta
Not
work
at all.
tomorrow. Nah, we talking for a little bit, and no, brother,
Not here. But
But
Larry, you talk about getting yourself out of debt. But let's be
mhm,
realistic. Everybody, for some people, they're working 12-hour shifts and they're
mhm,
working. They can't, I mean, the amount that you're making at work now is not even, it doesn't even match up with how much your rent is or your mortgage is or your car note. Like a lot of people are struggling to even keep their head
yeah,
above water. So how realistic is it for all these people to try to like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of debt, and I'll be fine. It's tough.
I'm
And
I'm
go
glad you
ahead.
asked. I'm
Go
glad
ahead.
you asked. I will tell you exactly what you can do. Now, this is not something that will get fixed overnight,
Right.
but it's some things that you need to look into. You have to generate a second income. You got to come up with a second income.
How?
Um, well, if you have a talent, a side hustle, find time to do it and charge services. You
Okay.
know, and one thing about Black people, whatever your price is, don't be giving all them hookups and discounts and all of that. If you know you got a service or
Ah,
something that you
I
do,
know, right?
if you know your service is gonna cost $100, you tell your people, look, I got you, but this is $100. Oh, come on,
Hmm.
cuz, let me get it for $30. Kiss my ass. It's
Yeah.
$100. Take it or leave it. That's the way it's supposed to be.
And
But
it's crazy because during COVID, a lot of people start learning what their talents really was.
yeah,
Because
yeah,
like me, I bartended for over 12 years. Like I bartended all my life damn near. And when COVID hit, you don't think I was selling drinks outside my house, making deliveries, dropping off alcoholic beverages, making plates. Like, it was that hustle mentality that was coming out of people. And it's like, I don't know, since we kind of went back into the work field, it's like I'm slowly kind of seeing the fade away a little bit, but I see some people they learn how to be a DJ
I did it.
and they're making so much money.
I did it.
I'm serious, doing
I had a
nails and hair.
I had a passion for music and I DJ.
Uh-huh.
Matter of fact, we got DJ. DJ's back. I see DJ. He's excited, so I'm gonna bring him back right quick. All right, DJ. Now we ain't got all night, DJ. I know how you go.
What's
I
up
know how
with you,
you go.
DJ?
Let me bring him back so you can see him this time. We're gonna bring him back.
Am I
Talk
on
to
for
her,
Make your
two?
DJ.
face.
Hey, just
Oh,
two
there you
seconds.
go.
All right. How y'all doing? Let me tell you how you build wealth in the Black community, how we always say.
Okay.
Building wealth in the Black community, it starts with family. Just like Frank said, it takes
Hmm.
two people, you know, husband, wife. All that breaking up stuff with little stuff, get it out of here. You got to know
Okay.
how to maintain and manage. It's not about your happiness. It's about structure, and it's about, hey, we are doing this to build for us for the future. You can't do
But
that
what if
on
you're
your own.
single?
What's that?
What if you're single though? Like, what if you're not married? What if you're like 23, 24, and you're single? How do you build wealth?
Let me tell you that. You better make yourself a wife or you better make yourself as a husband. And when I say make yourself as a wife and a husband, unless you
Uh-huh.
out here making $100,000 a year by yourself, or more, I think you better get a spouse. You're only gonna be able to do that talking about bringing wealth in the Black community, just like that. You're not gonna do
Mm,
it under that type of financial structure, you know,
okay.
because once you by yourself, what
Mm.
America has pitched a lot of people. I'm not gonna say which male or female, but what I'm gonna say is
Careful, because she gonna take the boxing gloves off.
No,
That's
I'm
all I'm gonna
not.
say.
No, I'm
because
not. I
what I'm
changed.
gonna say is a lot of things were pitched to us that was pitched to us to keep us in the predicament that we're in right now, and it was
Okay.
false. It was wrong. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
it gets to
I
the
agree.
point where, hey, you need somebody. you
Okay.
need an extra person. The majority of people are not making over $100,000 a year by
True.
themselves.
True.
So if you're not, you need an extra income
Mm-hmm.
or an extra hustle. But why would I say an extra hustle? I'm not gonna say an extra hustle. I'm gonna bring this even into the female realm, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like they say y'all need an extra hustle, but y'all don't want to work like that. Y'all don't want to kill
Hell
yourself
no.
like that. How many times
No.
y'all gonna be? How much time are y'all gonna have, especially with your kids, if you out there just hustling and bustling?
Yeah.
But
Not gonna
hold
work.
up, hold up, real quick before I let you go though. We gotta understand
Okay.
to get an extra hustle, you don't necessarily have to go hit an extra time clock. It's too much
No,
stuff out
no,
here that you can
no,
do.
you don't. It's so many things that y'all can do outside of you know going to clock in with somebody that owns the business.
Right.
You know, so it's so many other things that you can do, but I'm not pushing you go do all of that because it's about building wealth. But one thing about building wealth, you still want that time with family and kids. That's why I
Right.
say, hey, marriage is the biggest way, and family, I'm gonna say family is the biggest
Mm-hmm.
way you're gonna create not generational wealth, because I mean most people not gonna be wealthy. Let's
Mm-hmm.
just get that out the way.
Right.
But most people can be comfortable to pass something down, at least a house.
You can set the future generations to have a better opportunity to be
Right,
wealthy
a
if you
better
start working at it
opportunity
early.
than we
Yep.
had, you know.
Right,
Okay,
right.
so
Like that.
I agree, and I kind of disagree because I don't feel like the only way you can build wealth is being married. Okay, I agree to a certain extent. I think if once you do become married, you could definitely build wealth. I think that's 100%
Mhm.
true. However, I know this guy that I've known probably over 15 years, right?
Right.
And him and six of his guys has started to do something. They started to put a certain amount in like a bucket, right? Every month they put a certain amount, a certain amount. Once they reached a certain amount, that amount will go to one of the guys and it will go towards a business. Then
Okay.
then after that they continue to keep doing it. Then the next certain limit goes to the next person and the next person. I lie to you not. This guy, well, the group of friends that I know have over 10 businesses, have over 20 homes that they do Airbnbs and very successful. And they built wealth amongst friends. And I think it's so important that we choose who our friends are. And I mean, some friends become family. So I don't know, when you were saying family, if you meant like friends too, but you could definitely build wealth amongst your friends too, if y'all are on the same level with
Let
that,
me let me ask you a question.
whoever the numbers, yeah,
How many Mexican families you know like that? A whole lot of them. How many
a
black
whole
families?
lot.
How many black people you know like that? That can trust each other just like that.
That's the
And
problem. And he's not all the way
and
black. He's
why
like
and,
mixed or something. I think he's
and
like
So
mixed
why
too.
and why is it like that with black people not doing that as much as these other races doing it?
because
Right.
we were pitched an independent fantasy. And let me tell
Mm-hmm.
you, and what you talking about, what you saying, this black guy, that's just one set. That's an outlier.
He's not black.
We talking about whatever color.
I think it
I
was
don't
two
think
guys
it.
that was black in the group, but yeah.
Yeah, but you even just pitched it out right there. You say he's
Yeah.
not black, right? The crowd we talking to right now, I don't know who's the majority, but what
Yeah.
I'm
Black.
saying is to the whom we are talking to right now, like it's really uh we
Yeah.
ain't doing it. We're not doing it. Why
Yeah.
are we not doing it? We're not doing it because we'll pitch the fantasy that
Mm-hmm.
you can do it by yourself. You can do it on your own. No, you can't, man. I know the averages of all the numbers of people, what they make, what they do this, by race, by gender, by
Yeah.
anything. You know what I'm saying? I like
Yeah.
I just put it like this. Let me open your eyes even a little more.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What do you think the average salary a year, right?
Mm-hmm.
For a black female, African American female?
Average, I would say like 55, not
No,
even
no. It's
42.
30. It's
40.
30. No, no. I said African American female. Female.
Did you say 30 something?
African American 32. The African American male, the average salary is 42, 42.5.
Mm, wow.
How can you how can you do that by yourself?
Yeah.
What wealth is that creating?
Right. Right.
And that's why you gotta have knowledge to do something else. Like we talking about, we finna get into the stock market. We about to talk about real estate investing.
And
It's
that's
very easy to get into real estate investing, but guess what? They don't teach us the tools to get into it. All you got to do is go down to your local clerk of court, property taxes, unpaid property. It's so much stuff you can get into.
And see, the thing is, guys, we're talking about having a partner and getting married and doing all that, but society, DJ, is so messed up because how many women, right? Listen to me, y'all, and women don't beat me up. How many women talk about, oh, I'm not paying none of the bills. I'm not doing that. I don't believe in 50-50. The man got to pay for all this X, Y, and Z.
you
You
know the
have some
funny
of those women now.
I got an answer for that, but I'm gonna let DJ
No,
have it.
but there's women out here now in today's society when we're looking at social media and doing all this. It's like society has women thinking that a man shouldn't do 50-50. A man should pay for it all.
and
So
you
that
know
means your
uh,
45,000 that the man might be making. Now it's like, how am I gonna be able to afford her? So now that's why you don't even see a lot of people married and in these relationships because it's cheaper not to keep her sometimes.
Go ahead,
see, let
DJ.
me see, let me
It's
break it,
crazy.
let me break it down to you. Some
Hmm.
people don't qualify for more than that. And when I
Mm,
say some people don't qualify for more than that, I'm even talking about even putting the family together. When I was speaking about families, I
right.
was speaking about husband, wife, children. You
Hmm.
know, that's the families I was talking. I wasn't talking about outside family, aunties. No, you can't start generational wealth until you can build it in your own home. Saying that's
Exactly.
two people. I just gave y'all the averages for the majority of all of us, and that's what we're speaking to, right? We're speaking to
Right.
the majority. We're
Mhm.
not speaking to the outliers. The outliers,
Right.
they don't have the same things going on.
Right.
But when you speaking to the majority, you gotta hit them with a certain. These are the numbers. This is
Hmm.
what you're looking at.
These are
You know,
facts.
talking about, oh, I don't want nobody to pay 50-50. They didn't do that in the old school, the old men. Yeah, because hey, everything was. Hello, am I still here?
You still
Yeah.
here?
Oh my
Yeah.
bad. Yeah, things were like a quarter, a dollar. Things are not. The economy has changed
Yep.
well drastically
Tremendously.
since then. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
You buy what? Seven, 12 pack, 7 dozen eggs. That's a phone bill.
It's crazy, right?
It's
It's
You
terrible.
know
crazy.
what I'm saying? And so we cannot look at that thing as if okay, we have to sit up and that man can. It's only 10% of men that make over $100,000 a year. They cannot take care
Wow.
of you, a family, and see, y'all thought it was way more than that. No, man, go check on the numbers. Go to
Yeah.
blackdemographics.com. You'll see all the numbers across the board. I'm not talking out my head. I'm talking
Right.
out of real statistics,
Right.
Hmm.
real numbers. People got to go look at these real numbers because they just think everybody just got money just out there. No,
Yeah.
they don't. They
You gotta,
might flodge and act like it, but they don't.
you gotta,
Yeah.
you gotta, you gotta,
Absolutely
you
not.
gotta fight to make your paper. You gotta fight to
Yep.
make your paper, and then you gotta fight inflation and fight the cost of everything.
Yep.
It's just hard, but you got to be able to fight it.
And then the conversation, what you were saying earlier about like this guy that had a build. I mean, had friends and they got together and made a business or whatever.
Right.
One thing about it, if you have a certain type of family dynamic where it's the husband and wife and y'all really get together for
Hmm.
y'all and y'all make sure y'all have a great structure with your children and everything, you're gonna know they're gonna be able to carry on what y'all have done. You can't trust everybody out here with, especially when it comes to y'all know finances and stuff like that. Stuff start
Right.
getting mixed up. Like we're not talking about the outliers. We're talking about what we can do, how to fix the problem
There you go.
faster. and better. And the only
Right.
way you can do that is to build families, to stay with your families. That's the only
I
way you're
love
going to be
that.
able to start a type of at least the beginning of, I hate to say that word wealth, but something to leave behind so they can continue it. And eventually, if it keeps going like that and you put
Hmm.
that certain structure in your children, their children might start the wealth thing off. Or
Generational wealth.
right. That's the
Yeah.
only way you're gonna start it. People think it's easy. It is not easy to do this. It's hard work. It take work. It
Yep.
take people. It take people together. But the quickest way to have people together is
Mhm.
basically what you said, partner. I don't agree with that partner stuff. Everybody got their certain type of, you know. Hey, you have a role as a husband. You have a role as a wife.
Right.
I mean, technically, you can come up with anybody can come up with any word. Call it partner. No, we're not partner. We got different roles. You're my wife. You're
Hmm.
my husband. We have roles. We have to build this. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? Like Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan weren't partners. They were teammates, but they played different positions where they were great. I was great at this one. I was great at this one.
Right.
And that's how we do it. And then we can teach the rest. And that's what championships, where y'all say that wealth thing comes from. It doesn't
Yeah.
come from just, hey, we just, And another thing,
Hmm.
how you create, stop getting sucking into buying all this dumb stuff.
Right.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
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 And can I, hey, this might ruffle some feathers.
Ruffalo.
I'm a ruffler. Okay. Who is the easiest to just get past on something where I can just sell you anything and you're gonna fall for it? Gender.
uh, that's a tough one. I would say the females.
And you
Females,
know,
you think so?
and guess what? You right. But guess what?
Okay.
Who makes it harder for you to even go out there and buy a lot of the dumb stuff that I ain't gonna say dumb stuff, but things that y'all was sold as a dream. A lot of things that you don't need. Who makes it harder to say, nah, you shouldn't get that. Nah, this ain't gonna make sense. Nah, hey, we trying to do this.
What?
We trying to do that. Who
What?
does
Now
that?
hold up. No, no, no. Now sometimes the man might say certain things here and there, but
Uh-huh.
9 times out of 10, the person that usually runs the household financially is the woman. She's the one that usually keeps the financials in. But tell me I'm lying. Tell me I'm lying.
But that's
I'm
but
lying,
that,
Larry.
hey, but let me
Not
ask
all
you
the
a question.
time. Not all
Let
the
me ask,
time.
let me ask you a question though. Let me ask you a question though. You just
That's
did,
50-50.
you just went against your own answer because
Because okay,
hold on, because you just said the women spend more, but on the other hand, you say they take care of things better financially. Now, which one
listen.
are we? Where
Okay,
are
let
we
me
at?
explain. Let me break it down. Okay.
Okay.
Now, when it we like, I'm just gonna talk for myself because I can't speak for everybody out there. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I definitely know how to maintain the bills, get everything in order. After that's done, I like to splurge a little bit. I like to have fun with
Ah,
my
that's
money
your
a little
mistake
bit.
right there.
I might want to take a trip.
Hey,
I might buy me a purse or
That's your
whatever.
mistake.
But
You just made your mistake.
I'm going to enjoy my money too. I'm not going to just pay bills for
That
and every day.
mentality,
Tomorrow is not
listen,
promised.
hey,
that,
Frank,
huh?
So
Frank,
hold on. So you tell me when the
did you
last time
hear
you
Frank? Did you hear two things?
go ahead.
I'm a
But see,
splurge and it's my
because I
money.
listen, I listen when people talk.
Go
Yeah.
Did
ahead.
you hear two things? Let me tell you what I heard. Two things. I and I. Both times. I'm gonna splurge. I might want a purse.
Well, I and
Yeah.
my.
I.
I'm going to splurge because it's
And, oh yeah,
my
and
money.
she said
And
my money.
Yeah.
who else? Okay, me and my sons, our
If
money.
We
you're together, it's not just yours.
But I'm not. in that situation.
No, I just, I'm not. Let's take you
So
out
why
of it.
can't I spend it?
We're gonna
Look,
take
look.
you. We're gonna take you out of it.
Sherry just put up the perfect explanation.
Wants and
Wants
needs.
versus needs.
So if I'm paying majority of my needs and I
hmm
just take a little bit and spend a little bit on what I want, why can't I?
Because at
What's
the
wrong
end of the
with that?
day, if you really want to get rid of debt, if you really want to level up and put yourself in a better financial situation, you're going to have to sacrifice and go without to the
I,
point to where, guess what? You're going to have to go without. So guess what? That extra little $150
not
you're going to go
completely
spend.
though, Larry. Not completely.
But no, not completely. But guess what? If you do completely, more often than not, put more money into the assets, guess what?
Right?
You're knocking interest down, you're getting out of debt faster, you putting yourself in a position to build stuff. But every time, one time that you splurge on my money, it is what you said, my money, guess what? That's less money going to the same $100 that you're gonna splurge on something. You can go put that $100 in an ETF in the stock market, and guess
Hey,
what?
I
You're
put it
gonna
like
get a
this.
10%
Okay.
return.
Hey, Frank.
So if I
Hey,
did
Frank.
that and splurge a little bit.
Hey,
Oh,
Frank.
we gonna get on that. What up, DJ? I'm gonna have to let you go in a second. What up, bro?
Yeah, let me go in a second. Yeah, let me go in a second. But
Okay.
see, the thing is, we were just on a conversation about building general wealth, right?
Right.
Right?
Right. Building general wealth.
Mhm.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
How many purses you have?
How many persons I have?
Yeah.
About 20 something.
You got
Couldn't even give you an exact
what
number.
you
You know you
what do
got a
you
bunch.
what do you have in all your purses? All 20.
What do you mean? What do I have in them?
Hey Larry, how many wallets you have?
I got one wallet.
No, you don't, Larry. Larry, you don't have just one wallet. You probably got another one in the room somewhere.
No, this is the only one I got right here.
Do you have 20?
Because
No.
that stays in, okay, hold on, DJ. How many
Uh,
shoes do you have, DJ?
I have enough.
How-
I have quite a few. But let me tell you, I have even shoes from college
Right,
that I keep clean. We know how to keep our stuff clean.
right. I
You
had
know
them
what
for
I'm saying?
purses for a while. They're,
My
you know,
vehicle,
vintage purses.
I just bought a 2026, but I had my vehicle before then for like 15 years, paid off and all.
Okay.
You know, so it's about how can I get away from my wants to get and to sacrifice what Larry just said, my needs,
Right.
and some things that are your wants can't happen if you're trying to build generational wealth.
I agree with you 100%. Now I'm gonna be honest with you. Before it was different. That was the old Shy, but I promise you, like the new involved Shy, for at least the past couple of 8 months to a year, I've definitely changed the way I spend, like 100%. Could I do a little bit better in certain areas? Yes, but honestly, like I've gotten a lot better. I promise you.
That's great.
I just need to
Hey,
know where to invest it in.
hold on.
I need to
I
know
didn't,
where to invest
hold on.
it in. I need
Now,
to.
now, now let me get into my wild mode a little bit before y'all let me go. Hey, hold on. Are you married?
I'm getting a divorce, separated legally. No.
Okay, I'm not gonna get into my wild mode. Hey,
It's
love y'all. Y'all been a great crowd. Hey, whatever event y'all have, hi your boy, DJ Yes Sir. We gonna turn it up and we gonna do this, man. Love y'all. Y'all keep it going, man. But I love
okay.
this. I love this.
Much love,
Keep it
brother.
going.
All right,
Hey.
bye,
Every other
DJ.
Monday, DJ, be in the building every other Monday, brother. We bringing
I
topics and
And
come
got
on.
you.
let me know when you perform next time. I'll come see you. Support.
Got you.
I
Wait,
got you.
where are you?
I'm in
I
Tampa.
know Frank in Louisiana. Where you?
I'm in Tampa. I'm in Florida.
Oh, you in the FLA. Hey,
Hey.
we know. Hey, yes, we'll do that.
All right, DJ.
Got you,
Talk to you
man. Love
later.
y'all, man. Y'all be easy.
Peace.
Much love, DJ.
All right,
All
bet.
right. All right, brother. But
Why y'all talking about my purses? Why y'all trying to By the way,
because
beat me up.
we just started talking about the other topic of debt elimination, right?
Right. That's my past though, Larry. I'm a new shot.
Okay.
I'm
I'll
changing.
I'll
I
I'll give
promise
you
you.
I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. But one thing
Okay.
that you were talking about with DJ, I want to revisit that you
Hmm.
were saying was how to get us another income, if you're doing it solo, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
A lot of people don't understand that, and I've done it, and I got people in the chat that'll tell you because we had our group, our stock market group in the
Right.
chat. Sherry, JB, Devin can even tell you.
Hmm.
The stock market is one avenue you can look at. And not necessarily, you got to keep in mind with the stock market myself, I've been in it now for about 5 years.
Okay.
Now I took losses along the way, but I've taken those losses to now know how to navigate and mitigate risk to where, okay, I know how to read a chart. I know how to look at candles.
But
I
how
know
do
how to
you
judge.
start? How do you start, Larry? Because I
You
don't
got it.
know
You got
nothing about stocks.
resources. Resource. It's the same. It's resource. You got to
All
find
right,
a
give me a
resource.
resource. Give me one resource right now. Where to go?
Certain
What
people
do I
on
do?
YouTube. It's certain people on YouTube. I mean, I could get you the links. I could get you the links to the same people.
Okay.
Also, you get a mentor. I have a mentor that taught
Okay.
me. The thing about it is, everything you can do anything you want to do in life if you just you got to educate. In other words, and I know it's hard because it's boring at times. Time is hard. You're working,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
you just got to be able on that downtime. You just got to say, you know what? I ain't gonna watch this movie tonight, or I'm not going out with the girls tonight, or I'm not doing nothing tonight. I'm just gonna educate myself, and that's what it takes. And it takes years. It takes
Yeah.
years. But trust me when I tell you, once you gain that other skill, that's something they can never take away from you. When you learn the stock market, learn how to read charts and candlesticks and technical indicators. And I know what I'm saying is a lot for a lot of people, but guess what?
Mm-hmm.
You're talking to an old country bumpkin Negro from South Louisiana. So if I could learn how to do this, anybody can learn how to do this.
So how much is like a good amount to start when it comes to stocks? Like if I say, okay, I'm gonna invest, I have like $150 or $100. I have $100. I'm gonna put this towards an investment, right? I say,
Mhm.
okay, Larry, I got $100. I want to go ahead and put this into something in a stock. Where do I begin?
Okay, so the
Or
first
what's a good
thing,
amount to
and I
start?
have to legally say this. I am not a financial advisor. What I'm saying
Okay.
is not an endorsement to buy, hold, or sell. But the first thing I would say is until you learn the stock market where you can start chasing individual stocks, or like I'm in options. I do options trading, which is
Mhm.
you could make a lot or you could lose a lot.
Right.
But I would say look at an index fund, in any kind of index fund. Now, an index fund is basically it's a ticker symbol, which that's stock terminology, but it has so many companies that's in it. Like for the SPY. SPY is an index fund for like Microsoft and
Okay.
Apple and all your tech stocks and all of that. The
Okay.
thing about it is, traditionally, these index funds, they always gain in value in percentage over the years. So if you have, and they're the safest place because they always, more often than not, they've risen. The percentage has gone up. They've made money. They've appreciated in value. So I would tell anybody,
Okay.
of course, do your own due diligence, talk to your own financial advisor. But I
Mhm.
would tell anybody, if you're new to the game and want to get into something safe, throw your money in an ETF or an index fund. There's the SPY, there's the VOO. I mean, there's a whole bunch of them, and just set your money there. But you got to set it and forget it, and
So
let
$100 is like okay. Does that sound like more
yeah,
realistic, or is like
it is because you have certain ETFs that are at or below $100. So
oh
each share that you put into it, if you can find a time period where you're doing it once a month or every other week, whatever your pay schedule will allow, you can actually build and get more shares. There's also dividend stocks. They got stocks. There are certain companies that will pay you a certain percentage back for just holding shares.
oh really?
Yes.
So how
Pepsi.
long should you keep a share? Like, what if somebody puts in $100 this year and like 4 or 5 years later, it's like, you know what? I'm gonna pull out everything. It's like that a common thing, or do people try to keep it for like
Honestly,
10, 20
honestly,
years and then pull it out?
that
Like when you pull it
that
out.
what I would tell people about stock market investing is that's pretty much your call because you have to look at your why. The
Okay.
biggest thing that a lot of people don't do is they don't look at their why. If you know that you want to get something set up for your kids when they're young, or you're looking at retirement, whatever your why is, you just got to go hard and just throw money into it. And then if you feel like you want to take it out, that's on you. It's your decision when you want to take it out. The way I look at it is like this, and I'll get off the stock market, to start wrapping things up.
Okay.
The stock market, if you go at it right, can give you better value than a bank, because the stock market, the
Really?
return on your investment, you could have a stock move a couple of dollars in a day. You put your money in a bank, you ain't getting much more back than maybe annually 2 to 4% max, if that. So if you put $10,000 in a bank account
Mhm.
at 2%, I mean, that's what, $100, $200.
Yeah.
But if you put the same 10,000 into a certain stock or buy a bunch of stocks, and your $10,000, let's say you buy 10 stocks valued at $1,000, right?
Okay.
If you get 10 of those for 10 stacks, let's say the stock moves $50. You have
Okay.
$15,000.
Hmm. You're kidding me. That's
No,
how
wait,
it works.
hold up. My math is off. Wait, $1,000. I'm sorry. My math is off. $10,500 if it moves $50.
And I initially put in only what, 100?
Put it to you like this. I'm gonna bring it back down. If you have $100 and you buy
Mm-hmm.
a stock that is, I'm trying to think of a stock that just moved in the last couple. Okay, Hertz.
Okay. The
Hertz,
rental company?
yes, the rental company.
Okay.
Hertz just last week was at $4.16 because I got into some Hertz when it was $4.16.
Okay.
If I would have bought 100 shares of Hertz at $4.16, I would have invested $416, right?
Right.
Hertz after hours jumped to $6, and the next day was at over $8. So my 100 shares that I would have got in at $416 at one point would have been worth over $800. I would have damn near doubled my money off of what the move that Hertz did. But
Oh,
guess what?
wow.
Guess what? Is a bank gonna give you that kind of return?
No,
Not at all. Not even close.
not even
So,
close.
but I've been in the game long enough to know, it's certain stocks that you look at, this and that. But for a beginner, I would say any kind of index fund, any
Mhm.
kind of ETF. I want to shout out Jamal Davis right quick. He says it's getting hard, JD. It's getting harder for folks to make and keep money in the US, everything going up but wages. And that is
Yes.
straight facts.
Yes.
That is straight up facts. So, yeah, I mean, you have the stock market, you have crypto. Crypto investing is another thing.
That's
And like
what
I
I
said,
want to learn.
crypto,
I don't
it
know nothing
it's
about that.
basically YouTube. We have right now something that we didn't have back in the day. YouTube, Google. You can self-educate yourself. You can teach yourself. There's all kinds of sources out there that will break it down like you're in school.
Right.
So you can do that,
And what's
So
the other one? Bitcoin? Yeah.
Bitcoin is the big time crypto that's really went up to some big numbers. I remember when Bitcoin was like 20, $30, like 15 or whatever years ago. And
Okay.
Bitcoin a couple of months back was over $100,000. So imagine if you had 10 of those, $300 invested when it was $30 and it went up to over $100,000. But that's what you do is you're holding. You put your money in and you hold, so you got to have the patience to be able to hold.
I'm gonna take a class. I'm gonna take a Bitcoin and a stocks class. You're gonna be part of me there.
I got
DJ.
Yeah. I got my mentor, Katie, which he's been on the show. Me and Dee have had him on Winning at the Game of Life.
Mhm.
Actually, we're gonna have to send you the link to that show. If you go back and watch that show, you will start educating yourself tomorrow.
Okay.
That brother is powerful, and he made a difference in my life as far as teaching me stuff
Okay. Might have to
with
look
that.
into
So
him.
absolutely. So you got that. Another avenue that we can look at is real estate.
Facts.
We touched on it a little bit, but guess what?
Facts.
Real estate is probably the most easiest way to build yourself up and get to a higher level and bridge that wealth gap for us. But it's just something we don't take advantage of, because if you get into real estate, you got to think about it. You got wholesale real estate. You got fix and flip, where you get a property, fix it up and flip it. You could either sell it or you could rent it up. And the best thing I would say is you rent it and get that rental income. You get enough rental properties, guess what? You ain't got to work no more.
Yeah.
Plain
Yeah.
and simple. And then you got buy and hold properties, where you can buy a property and just hold it. And just like DJ was talking about, we can't do nothing for ourselves, but we can try to set ourselves up for our kids. Well, if you buy a property and hold it, guess what? You may pass on. But if you pass on, guess what? Somebody may want to buy that property. And if your kids have ownership, guess what? They sell it, guess what? You just bought something. And if it holds, that's something that they can sell that'll go on for future generations.
Right. Right.
And the thing about real estate, since real estate is not hard at all to deal with, because with real estate, truth be told, like I said earlier, go to your local county,
Yeah.
check the unpaid property taxes. Now, states are going to vary because you have tax liens and you have tax deeds, so you have to check with your state and check the rules for such. But I know in Louisiana, yeah, it's easy. Put it to you like this real quick. In Louisiana, tax liens, you can assume the property for the unpaid tax, but you have to wait 3 years to assume full ownership to do what you want to do. But at the end of the day, if the original property owner wants to get that property back, they got to pay back the property tax that you paid all those years plus interest. And most people ain't going to do that, because if you ain't paying the property tax to begin with, guess what? They're not going to want to pay that extra money. So, you know.
And we don't even have property taxes here in Florida.
See?
I know.
So,
but I want to buy some real estate out the country. That's my goal. I after probably 4 or 5 years, I want to go out the country and buy some property there. Honestly, it's so cheap. Like, I've been doing like my research. It's so cheap. They even have these. They're called dollar homes, like in Europe. Places that have been affected like by the war years ago, and they just never like renovated or built it back up. They have actual homes for $1, but of course there's a catch to it as well. Like, you have to renovate it like within a year or two, and things like that. But it's definitely worth it, But it's just, you have to do your research. You have to do your research. But real estate, I think, is like the way to go. Honestly,
absolutely.
And a lot of people think you have to have good credit to get into real estate. Really, you don't. I think that's something where if you have cash or something like that, then you could definitely get some real estate. You don't even have to have your real estate license, You
don't need a real estate license to get into real estate.
Nope, you don't.
If you're going to sell houses, if you're going to sell houses like for a broker or something, but as far as you, if you get the properties and attain them, you can do that on your own. Jamal put up a good point right here. It's best to use credit union for your banking, because the major banks give you nothing on your money. I'm talking pennies. And credit unions are generally going to give you better rates, better mortgage rates, better auto loan rates. They're the way to go. They're definitely the way to go.
Yeah.
I'm just hitting up these comments. Joseph Bernard said that's why I'm moving back to Florida.
Come on down.
Appreciate you sharing.
But another thing, Larry, life insurance too.
Listen, you read my mind, because that's the final topic of the night. I'm gonna go ahead on. Dee had highlighted it earlier, and I'm gonna get into it, because life insurance is probably the one thing that we as Black folks, sis, you know how hard it is for me when somebody passes on and they gotta have a GoFundMe set up because they didn't have any kind of life insurance, or they gotta have a benefit because they didn't get any life insurance.
Yeah.
And I hate to see that. I hate to see that, because it's no excuse. But in this day and age, you have, and I mean, D will definitely, he's excited about this. I know this is his thing right here. These index universal life policies, because not only do these index universal life policies provide a death benefit where if something happens to you or your loved ones, they're covered, you can also fund it and it's going to gain interest. And if you want to borrow against it, you can borrow the money. And guess what? It ain't taxable. The IRS cannot come at you tax free. Yes.
What? I did not know that.
Ask your brother. Ask D.
And look, I have this resource right here. I didn't even know. That's crazy.
Yeah. Florida property tax every year. Yes. So I mean, an IULs is basically, it's kind of new. It's a newer thing that's starting to kind of, take shape across the country and everything. But it's definitely a valuable asset, because you got to think about it. Back in the day, most of the life insurance policies, Union National, the old school companies, you might be looking at 15,000, which was considered a big policy amount back in the day. And guess what? Your loved one dies, death benefit is paid, you bury them, and guess what? You're done. But if you have an IUL and you're funding it, and you get an IUL that has a big value on it, 150, 200,000 up to $500,000 or whatever, guess what? Over the course of time, that death benefit is going to pay is actually more affordable and more cheaper than the traditional life insurance policies. Most of the time, you don't really have to take a medical exam, because back in the day,
you had to take
if you wanted a certain amount of coverage, you had to go take a medical exam. They wanted to know if you were a smoker. They was making it see if you had AIDS and shit back in the day. I mean,
that's not required now.
Most of them, no. It depends on the amount. I'm talking about the big amounts, but you can get, back in the day, if you wanted like $100,000 to $200,000 policy, you had to go through all of that.
Now, is it true about being a felon? I heard felons couldn't get life insurance.
I had people locked up in my family, and my grandmother, God rest her soul, had life insurance on them. And when they died, it paid off. And that was back in the day.
Okay.
Yeah. The thing about a policy is a life insurance. No. Anybody can get life insurance.
Okay.
The thing about a policy is, as long as you have the information, and if it's something, because you're investing into this person, you don't need their permission. Like, let's say I have a brother that's out there in the streets gangbanging or whatever. He ain't worried about no life insurance, but I know something happens to him, I got to bury him. I don't have to go to him to get permission to put a policy on him. All I need is his information, and I can go get a policy. And as long as I pay the payments, guess what? When he goes somewhere to the club messing with the wrong dude and they put a cap in his ass, guess what? When they toe tag him.
But you have to be related. Like, anybody just can't get life insurance on a person. You have to at least be related some type of way, right?
I won't say that you can't be related. I think that's kind of something you want to talk to the agent, because I've heard of some situations where, that's something you want to talk to the agent. I don't want to give no bad information. I've heard of
life insurance waiting for me to die. I'm just saying, like, that sounds a little weird, but okay.
Stranger things have happened. I mean, stranger things has happened. Credit to Jamal Davis. You can use the life insurance as your own bank. That's what the IUL does. That's what the IUL does. And the thing about it, if you borrow in the IUL, if you borrow that amount, if you take a loan out against, the value of it, guess what? The death benefit is still there. So if you die, guess what? Even if you owe this money or you've taken this money out, they're not going to deny you the death benefit. They're still going to pay you. Sis,
y'all got all the tricks in the trades. Y'all definitely, you got to let little sis know what's going on, because what?
Yep.
See, he said that's crazy. Felons can't get life insurance.
I've never heard about that. I don't know. Is that a state thing? Because I had a cousin that was in the penitentiary, and my grandmother had a policy on him, and when he died,
because a family member, a close family member in my family, is a felon, and I was literally going to get life insurance on them, and I was told because they have to be, I think, off of probation or off of parole for at least 7 years for them to be cleared to be able to get life insurance on them.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
But I like you said, like a lot of things changed because like before I had to get like a medical exam and all that, like you were saying, and now you're saying some of them don't even require you to do that. So maybe things have
Right.
changed. So I'm definitely looking into that though. Yeah.
Absolutely. And when you
I
do it,
feel
the last thing I want to throw on that, I'll pass it to you. But
no.
also the rule of thumb is if you look into a policy,
Uh-huh.
you want to try to structure it 10 times, around 10 times your annual salary. That's the
Okay.
amount of coverage that you would like to get
Why is that?
optimally. Right.
Why is that?
Well, I mean, you have to figure that it's really a rule of thumb, once first and
Okay.
foremost, but like for your loved ones, depending on the situation, you got to look at
Mhm.
your house, your expenses, they got to take care
Yeah.
of stuff. So you don't
Yeah.
want to just get a basic policy with a face amount that buries you and then they're left with all your bills. You try to
Yeah.
get something up to 10 times the amount to where they can take care of you and give you a good home going, and then they can take care of everything else. And,
Yeah.
because the grieving process isn't going to stop, but at least the grieving isn't compromised with, worrying
Financial.
about how to
Yeah.
financially. Yes.
I definitely agree, understand. Well,
Right.
thank you, Larry. You actually you there, Larry.
Hey, I got a little something up here. This bald head got a little something
Yeah.
up in here, And
This
like I
ain't
said,
big
I
for no,
don't
it ain't big for no reason, huh? It ain't big for no reason.
I but you know what? Sis, real talk, all
What's
jokes
up?
aside, I
Mhm.
I just I just soak up as much knowledge as I can. And that's the thing that I
Yeah.
would say for all the rest of our people is, listen, I love the tea and I love gossip and I love controversy and drama like everybody else. But at some point, I got to prioritize, what's
Absolutely.
more important. Is it more important, you know, Shannon Sharp and who he's banging and this and that? Or is it more important for me to
Right.
learn, that's what it's all about,
It is. That is what it's about. Like, especially if we have kids, leaving something behind for them, Because
Yeah,
once we're gone, then what? What do we have? What do we have left? What are we leaving behind for them to carry on? Because, you know, I sacrifice and I do all these things and to live a great life, not just for myself, but for my kids, my future grandkids, and things like that.
right,
So it's
right,
like I can't fault my parents or my grandparents, my aunts and uncles for them not knowing. But when is that going to stop? When is that generational curse going to stop? It has to stop with me for me to be able to
right.
pass this knowledge to my son, for him to carry on and pass it to his kids. So I think tonight's show was definitely a great show. I think it's what we needed, the community needed. I definitely appreciate all the knowledge that our guests brought to the show. Listen, I got my pen and paper. I took a lot of notes. I'm getting to work first thing in the morning. Go ahead and get me was it a credit one card. I'm gonna open up a Sky account, open Sky
Hmm.
account,
Open sky.
and the 10% rule. Like it's things I didn't know, and I'm not embarrassed to say I don't know because I just don't. I didn't, but now I do. So there's no excuse for me not to put all the things that I've learned tonight and put it into effect, and not to buy no more purses.
Absolutely. And listen. And the thing about, hey, and you're right. I mean, it's nothing. Is you and your purse. It's nothing to be embarrassed about. And I think
Nah.
a lot of people, it's just so much information that's there for us, and we just don't take advantage of it. We don't.
Yeah.
It's just, to me. And look, I ain't trying to turn this racial, but I'm just gonna be 100.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Why in the world? Why in the world do the white folks got all of this information? Why in the world do the white folks got access to this stuff? And we walk in the same streets and living in the same country and same state and cities as the white folks, and we don't know what's happening. It's got to change.
It
It's
has
got
to
to change.
start with us. We can't always blame them, guys. It
That's
starts
it.
with us. Like when I was talking about me knowing a person where he had 7 of his friends got together and they saved money and all of them have all these businesses. Like, why can't we do that with us, each other? Like, you know what? We should do that. The real talk and the you talk should get together and we should start doing that, Larry. What about that? Let's start.
Yeah, I'm
Let's
down.
let's
You know
let's
me,
set
you,
the
D.
example and let's start that.
JB, Sherry, you know, we all down for it. It's just a
Seriously.
matter of everybody coming in and anybody that wants to get involved. I mean, because
Let's start it.
you know, each one teach one. And I mean, it's stuff
Yeah.
that I might know that somebody else will know, or resources or whatever. So
Yeah.
it's
Let's
never
start
an
it.
excuse. It's never an excuse. So
Yep.
well, sis, I think we're gonna put a bow on this thing. I know you gave some words just now. You got any more departing words you want to
That was
give?
my word. That was my closing.
Okay, that was your closing.
That was my closing.
So real quick, I think this conversation we had tonight, I think it'll segue into the next conversation in the next 2 weeks.
Okay.
And just tell me what you're thinking about this, because I think this conversation needs to be had. This deal with Carmelo Anthony in Frisco, Texas.
Mm.
It then got hot. It's getting crazy. And honestly, I think we need to talk about it because it's about to get wild. Because one way or the other, whether he's vindicated and he walks or he's convicted, it's about to get rough in these streets for all of us.
Yeah, I agree. And where's his second place? Where was he from?
He's from Frisco, Texas. He was the one. Just a little segue into it, and we'll get on. We'll talk about it in a couple of weeks. I'll get you some information. But if you just go on YouTube or whatever, you'll see it. Basically, just the background. He was at a track meet in Texas, Frisco, a suburb of Dallas. He was at a track meet. He was under another team's tent, and two twin brothers allegedly, we got to make sure we put the right terminology, allegedly harassed him and told him to move, and there was an altercation, and when it was all said and done, he stabbed one of the twins and unalived them. And right now it's of course they were Caucasian, and it's a lot of tension right now going on. It's everybody's in it. As Joseph Bernard just alluded to, you can't miss it. It's all over social media. But yeah, I think I wanted to wait until, because his bond was $1 million and it got dropped to 250, and he's on house arrest now. And white folks is mad. They're calling him a murderer when it was self-defense. So yeah, check it out, and
I will.
I think that's gonna be a hot one. That's gonna be a hot one. So
I will.
Yep. But sis, I appreciate you. We did another one. Hopefully, y'all, I'm gonna give my departing words and we're gonna be out of here. Hopefully, y'all took some of these gems and these nuggets that we dropped tonight, and just do your own due diligence, man. The opportunity is there to level up and better yourself and do things, and just get on out there and don't let nobody stop you or tell you you can't do this or you can't be that and all of that stuff. It's just, wow. Just no reason. But we're going to get out of here. We thank y'all. We appreciate y'all, being with us, rocking with us. I dealt with all kind of crazy stuff at work today with the rain. I barely got home in time. Sis had to fight to get home in time. But we made it, and we appreciate y'all.
And we're doing it for you. All for you guys.
All for y'all. And with that, we're gonna put a wrap. And hey, y'all know how we start every show, and y'all know how we end every show.
Every show.
Ain't no us
without you, baby.
It's real talk. It's real talk.
It's real. It's real. With my broke
really
ass.
Talking.
Look.
You already know.
I'm not broke, y'all. I'm fucking with y'all.
You and them purses. Hey, we'll see y'all in 2 weeks, y'all.
Peace. Bye, y'all.
All right.
From the heart of the city to the edge of the world, telling stories of black kings and queens.
It's you talk, baby.
Every topic, every voice, like a new kind of pearl. Shining light on truths to make the future swirl. It's real talk, baby. El Frankenstein blue coming through, baby. Real topics, real stuff for the people, baby. Buckle up and let's roll with real talk, baby. It's real talk, baby. It's real talk, baby. It's real talk, baby. And it ain't no me without you, baby. It's you talk, baby, and it ain't no me without you, baby. From the heart of the city to the edge of the world.
It's you talk, baby.
Black kings and queens, but both that I'm from.